G'day to everybody and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. Today I'm coming to you once again from another beautiful day here in Sydney. I'm at wharf number 6. It's a bit blowy today, it's a bit breezy, so I thought I'd come down here to shelter myself from the elements and to just isolate myself from the people, just to be able to talk freely without feeling awkward. And just to have some peace and quiet over here. And we've got the Victor Cheng coming in to moor up, and I'll just move a little bit further down the end here to be protected by that glass screen so we don't get the buffeting sound of the wind. So it's an easterly zephyr blowing through today. And what I want to do is just take some time to talk to you about a book summary that I've recently read, and I think it's one that you'll enjoy. I certainly enjoyed it, and it's a book written by Matthieu Ricard, and it's entitled Happiness. It's a wonderful topic because we're all trying to find happiness. And it's one of those challenges, I guess. But Matthew, in his book here, covers it quite well. So I'll try and cover off as many of the good points that I got out of the book as I can, and to keep it interesting. But one of the things that Matthew kicks off with is that happiness is all about cultivating a mental state which is unburdened by the challenges of the past and the future. So he kind of insists that it's important to stay in the present. So that's the overriding theme of this book, because we are tormented. In his own words, he says that we're tormented by our past and by our future plans, but true peace is found in the present. So it's all about being present, according to this author. If you're present, then you'll get to get a sense of peace and tranquility, as opposed to spending vital reserves and energy levels worrying about the past, about things you can't change, as also about worrying about the future, which is yet to appear, and many of our plans will never come to fruition. And he talks about happiness is the way you think, live and perceive the world around you. So I think we've all come across people in our lives that are always happy or appear to be happy, and you just wonder, what's the magic potion that they take to always be in this state. But according to the author, it is it's a way of thinking, it's a way of living, and it's a way of rationalising and perceiving the world around us, because it's got a major impact on our mental well-being, just the way we see things, the way we process things. So just moving on to the next subject, because we all seem to think that if we got more money and if we've got cool people to hang out with, we're going to be happy. But this really knocked me about. This one here was a real interesting point that the author makes. He says that your wealth and your social circle, so in other words your money, your possessions, and the social circle that you hang out with, only accounts for 10 to 15% of your happiness index. So these are external things. So he makes an important point of categorizing external things and internal things. But he's saying that the external things that happen to us only account for 10 to 15% of our happiness. Because he says that we're on a hedonic treadmill, a hedonistic path with the material things in our lives. For example, a car. You know, you get yourself a new car, be it a Ferrari, a red Ferrari, whatever you get. He says you're going to be really, really happy and excited when you first get it, and then slowly but surely, the love affair with that material item will dissipate. And when a new model comes out, you're going to be distressed and basically be unhappy. So your happiness has been the source of your unhappiness. How funny is that? But it's so truthful. So the more we try and solve and feed our happiness in terms of external things like wealth and social circle, the more we're signing ourselves and wiring ourselves with pain further down the track. So the author comes out and says that the key to our happiness is our inner well-being. Our inner well-being. So it's all about your inner self, which most people are not aware of. I don't think many people talk about this. And I know that, especially in this Western society, we're all caught up in materialism, in consumerism, and very little effort is made, or considered it at least, to our inner selves and your inner peace and your inner well-being, which I guess probably contributes to the fact that a lot of wealthy people, a lot of people who are well off in many, many ways, are depressed, unhappy, and are suffering a miserable sort of existence. Kind of makes sense if only 10% or 15% of your happiness is attributed to your external world. And another thing that the author talks about, which once again was new to me, he says that happiness is not the same thing as pleasure. He says that pleasure is a momentary thing, and it's based on circumstance and time. So you can't be a pleasure machine, where you can't have continual pleasure, because pleasure, as the author suggests, is fleeting. And that pleasure comes from external stimulation, which once again is fleeting. And hence, I guess a lot of us can associate with this. He says that all these external stimulations that we have in our lives lead to our unhappiness. And the examples are, it doesn't matter how much you go shopping, sooner or later you're going to look at yourself in the mirror and say, bloody hell, I'm still unhappy. Doesn't matter how much alcohol, how many drugs you take. All of those things, what they basically do is help alienate yourself and from other people. You know, buying the car, buying the house in that great postcode, travelling to all the countries in the world. Now, sooner or later, all of those experiences will end up alienating you from your friends and family, because they're not shared experiences. Alcohol, drugs, all of those things will also work to alienating you, not only from your friends and family. Fair enough, initially you may be connected to your friends and family by doing the drugs and the alcohol, but sooner or later, the author was saying, as sure as the sun will come up in the morning tomorrow, you'll feel alienated from your family and friends, And even worse still, you'll be alienated from yourself. You'll be looking at yourself in the mirror, looking deep into your eyes, and not recognizing that person who you see in that mirror. Deep stuff. And the author then goes on to remind us that depression, which is rampant in our worlds, in our families, in our societies, occurs when we lose connection with ourself, our family, and the world around us. So the author then gives us a call to action. He says that we need to free ourselves from worry, to free ourselves from worrying about the past, and to free ourselves from worrying about the future, and just to focus on accepting, enjoying, and living the now. He said that, and this is an important one, and we know this for a fact, especially here in Australia, where we've got an absolutely awesome quality of life. We've got employment, we've got education, we've got climate, we've got everything you could possibly hope for in terms of paradise. But 3/4 of the people are said to be unhappy, even though we have the greatest and the best, or seemingly the best, quality of life in the world. We're unhappy because we're disconnected. We feel that we're living in a vacuous society. So the author then reminds us of that the concepts, our concepts of happiness, are deceptive. You know, we for too long we've trusted in materialism and status and social position and individuality and all of that bullshit to set us free and to make us happy. But it's only after a while, once the years pass, that you realise that all of those things are a deception. No matter how many cars, how many houses, how many girlfriends, boyfriends, friends, lovers, vacations that you go on, you'll wake up and you'll feel empty and unhappy. And he said that the source of this misery, the source of this emptiness, is our ego. And this is a common theme. We hear this a lot these days, that ego is what causes us to be unhappy, causes us to be disconnected, and basically is the root cause of many of our issues that we have in our lives. Because the identity and status is closely connected to unhappiness. Because if you're trying to live and prove and enjoy a certain status in life, you'll realise that life changes and not everybody is going to see you the way you want them to see you, and that if you're seeking validation all the time from external sources, from other people, from boyfriends, girlfriends, lovers, parents, uncles, aunts, grandparents, teachers, bosses, co-workers, if you're seeking validation at all cost, then you're going to be sad because you're going to get let down. People are going to get sick of validating you all the time. You know, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the most beautiful and greatest of all? People will get tired of wanting to tell you that you're beautiful, that you're great, that you're smart all the time. So you need to understand that being praised and accepted all the time, being validated, praised and accepted all the time is an illness that you need to be careful of. Because when it's all said and done, ego is a fragile foundation to build our happiness on and our lives on. It's a shifting sand. It's something that's here today, gone tomorrow. So what do we do? What's the lesson? How can we grow from this? The author basically gives his opinion, suggesting that humility is the key. It's the freedom from having to be validated all the time. You don't need people to tell you. You don't need people to stroke you all the time and tell you how beautiful, how clever, how wonderful you are. Because if you need that all the time, then as we said, it's fleeting. You know, you're going to be flavour of the month one day, and then you're going to be on the nose after that, and you're going to feel let down and disappointed. So once again, we need to turn to ourselves. We need to find our inner self, and to remember the most important thing of all is that our thoughts and emotions are our friend or our enemy. So you need to spend some time finding yourself and shaping your thoughts, shaping your emotions, and becoming less dependent on the outside world, on your assets, on your physicality, on your social circle, on everything else which is outside of you, and to spend more time focusing internally in order to find your inner peace. And the final word from the author is the famous words from that great song, "Don't worry, be happy." And I guess that's where I'll leave it for today. I've enjoyed giving this little 5 a.m. club, because by teaching, I'm learning. By talking about it, we're all shaping our views. And I thank you for joining me once again on Jim's 5 a.m. club. So let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, and most importantly, let's take a lesson from this book on happiness and understand that 10 to 15% of your happiness will come from your external world, from your wealth, from your social circle, from those around you. So you need to invest in and bank on your internal world and be your own best friend, your own greatest fan, your own greatest advisor and confidant, and to seek that inner peace, that inner tranquility that only an affair, a love affair with yourself, a relationship with yourself, and of course your Creator, can provide. So thanks once again, and we'll chat again. Bye from Jim's 5 a.m. Club, and we'll pop up somewhere else tomorrow with another message and go on a volta. So sagapao, I love you, kissies, and we'll chat again. Bye for now.